Donald Trump has thankfully been missing from the public eye almost completely since leaving office 14 days ago today. And by the way, 2 weeks already, Joe Biden has been president. It doesn't feel like it. It feels like he was just sworn in yesterday, but it's been 2 weeks. Trump's been missing, but his son, Eric Trump, is quickly challenging his dad for the most humiliating and cartoonishly farcical interviews. I'm not totally clear on what Eric Trump is trying to accomplish by doing interviews, but he was interviewed last night on the Sean Hannity Fox News propaganda program. What he did achieve was creating a caricature of the sycophantic, brown-nosing defender of Donald Trump, and in particular, a son who is desperate for the approval of his father that he never really seems to have gotten. It's sad, in a way. Let's look at some clips. These are painful to watch. In this first clip, Eric Trump rewrites history and says there has never been a more beloved political figure than Donald Trump. I know. In the history of America.
They know he did a great job for this nation. They know that there's never been a more beloved political figure in our country's history. There are 75 million Americans who would follow him to the end of earth. I mean, they love the man. They love what he stands for.
It's not just that Trump wasn't the most beloved political figure. There has been no president in the modern political era that was less popular than Donald Trump. Donald Trump, not once during his entire presidency, achieved a 50% approval rating in the Gallup Daily Tracking Poll. That's never been the case for any president in the history of modern polling. Trump and Melania had the lowest average approvals of any president and first lady for as long as polling has been done. And Eric Trump, I mean, it's just opposite. Everything is, they wrongly talk about Orwellian and say things are Orwellian when they're really not Orwellian. Double speak, saying the opposite of what is true, actually is something that played a role in George Orwell's 1984. Eric Trump says this is the most beloved president in history. Never mind president. He says the most beloved political figure in history. And he is the least popular president in history about whom we have data. Then Sean Hannity tees up a softball for Eric Trump about how they're victims. Melania's a victim, Eric Trump, Ivanka, Donald Trump, they're all treated so terribly. And Eric Trump still can't put together a coherent answer.
But there's been nothing but from the day your father and Melania Trump came down the escalator at Trump Tower, it's been never-ending harassment for your dad, your family, Don Jr., Ivanka, every Barron even, Melania, everybody, and it continues now. We know the outcome of this latest charade. I played the double standard, and I'm just curious, as you hear the remarks of Democrats and compare them to the remarks of your dad, what your thoughts are.
Listen, Sean, I was there, 20 minutes after election day in 2016. It was a beautiful day. I remember the Washington Post writing that story, which is this is the minute that impeachment begins. And they tried to get him with the Russia hoax, and they tried to get him with Ukraine, and they tried to take down Kavanaugh, and they tried to get him again, and they tried to manufacture everything under the sun against my father, against all of us. They do it every single day. They continue to do it.
The poor Trump family. Wah! Have you ever seen a more privileged set of people portray themselves as bigger victims and martyrs than this family? Josh Hawley being on Fox News every other day, speaking to a national audience about how he's been silenced. Yeah, that's funny. This is even crazier. And they claim to be tough. They don't want snowflakes, all of this nonsense. And they are the thinnest skinned family who have spent 5 years now, obsessed with the idea that nobody's been treated worse than them. There's been no bigger victims in America, in the world, than the Trump family. The most powerful person in the world for 4 years and his family want you to think they are the victims of everything, of the media, of the Democrats, of whatever. It's unbelievable. Last clip, Eric Trump says that the country is soon going to miss Donald Trump.
And honestly, I think people are going to miss Donald Trump really quickly. I think they're going to miss him really, really quickly because some of these policies that they're enacting, these executive orders, 40 in the first day, are madness, Sean. They're just madness.
Well, it's interesting.
Again, Trump left office with the lowest approval of his presidency. He was the least popular president in the history of the modern political era. But in addition, Eric is just lying on the facts, and this is a good opportunity to talk about the executive orders. Eric there said that Joe Biden signed 40 executive orders on his first day in office. This is not true. The list of executive orders is public. Any one of you can find it. It's out there. On January 20th, Joe Biden signed 9 executive orders. 9, not 40. You might like those executive orders. You might not. You might want to reform the executive order system, but he didn't sign 40 executive orders on day one. He signed 9. On the second day of his presidency, Joe Biden signed 8 executive orders. Eric Trump says it was 40 on day one. Actually, it was 17 over 2 days. And in total, including the executive orders Joe Biden signed yesterday on immigration, Joe Biden has signed 28 executive orders in 14 days, not 40. You can debate executive orders. You can debate their contents. You can debate their merits. You can debate what shouldn't be done via executive order. Is there something damaging to the political system, to the fact that every president feels the need to use executive orders to undo what their predecessor did? All valuable debates. But if you start with a lie that Joe Biden signed 40 on day one when he really signed 9, the debate is worthless because you're starting with a lie. Truly a pathetic figure in American politics, and that could apply to a lot of people. I'm talking about Eric Trump, and I'm wondering, is he going to keep doing this for the next 2 years, for the next 4 years, appearing on Fox News to talk about how everybody misses his dad and how terrible Joe Biden is? And I think it's still a question mark. It's looking like Donald Trump is just sort of disappearing. We've not heard from him for 2 weeks. When it comes to Eric Trump, Don Jr. has been going absolutely crazy on Twitter for the last 2 weeks. There's rumor or the idea that maybe Eric Trump's wife, Lara Trump, plans to run for senator in North Carolina. Still a question mark as to whether these characters are going to try to keep playing a role in American politics. Let's hope they don't. And again, the entire Eric Trump thing, Eric Trump's entire presence to me reeks of a son desperate for their father's approval more than anything else.